The Survivor 48 premiere episode aired on Wednesday, February 26th, and now it is time that I make my predictions about each remaining castaway. Each week following the episode, I will be ranking the Survivor 48 players from least likely to win to the most likely to win the game. These lists don't indicate my thoughts as to who I think is going to be leaving on the next episode or who I think is most likely to survive the next episode, but rather these should be viewed as a power ranking list on who I believe overall is in the best position to win Survivor 48. I look at several factors to determine who I believe is in the best position to win, which include but are not limited to physical strength, mental strength, social strategy, current standing with their tribe mates. Do they hold any idols currently? Or do they show an ability to obtain an idol or win immunity at any point in time? Is their pre-merge tribe likely to see tribal council often? What type of edit is each castaway getting? And last but certainly not least, what is my gut feeling? During the premiere episode, we lost Stephanie. Stephanie was a part of the Vula tribe, which is the green tribe, which brings them down one person. I also overall just think the green tribe is the weaker tribe in general, so we'll see how they fare after this. Let's get started with my number 17 on my list, which is Say Hughley. Say is such a wild card. She might have an idol currently, but I just don't see her winning the game. Say came into the tribe hot and heavy. She is playing a very hard, very fast game, and I think she just needs to slow it down. I believe that she's actually on the weakest of the three tribes, which is the green tribe, like I said. I think we can expect the green tribe to just see more tribal councils than the other two tribes will. Say might be a target at her tribe's very next tribal council visit that they have to go to, in my personal opinion, because I just think everyone is going to want her to blow her idol sooner rather than later. If lucky, Say can go post-merge, but in my opinion, she's not going to be going with any advantages or idols. Also, everyone in Say's tribe knows that she has an idol, or at least thinks that she has a clue, and I just don't think that's a good thing. Number 16, Star. Oh, Star, I had such high hopes for you. I was really hoping that Star's quirks would draw people in, but rather it seems that Star is just struggling to make connections with people. What surprises me the most is that Star's struggles do not actually seem to be because no one likes Star or understands Star, but rather just out of a lack of effort on Star's part. The entire tribe has taken notice to the fact that Star is walking around looking for clues, looking for idols alone. And hello, Survivor rule number 1, do not go out searching for clues or idols alone, especially if you're going to do it, don't do it on the first episode. Lucky for Star, the Langy tribe that Star is on seems to be a physical threat for the time being. This might mean that Star could slide into the post-merge if lucky. You think that it's still really early on, and if, that's a big if, Star can form at least like 1 or 2 connections on the Langy tribe, it might bump Star's place on my power ranking. So keep a lookout for that. Another reason I have Star so low on the list is because I do think Star is a physical competitor, and I do think that with Star being at the bottom of the tribe at this point and also being a strong physical competitor, once they get the first opportunity to take Star out, they're going to take it. Next up, number 15 is David. This guy not only hasn't watched a single episode of Survivor in decades, he seems to be abundantly clueless on how the game even works. David, if you're going to look for possible clues, if you notice any possible clues, do not point them out to anyone else. In addition to having no clue what he's doing on this island, he proves to be a physical threat. I would be really stupid not to take the very first chance to vote him out that they get, honestly. You don't want to leave a comp beast around for too long. Same thing with Star. You don't want to leave a physical threat around too long, as it just gets harder and harder to get their torch snuffed as the days go by. Number 14 is Mary. Mary's only solid connection on her tribe was Stephanie, who was voted out on the first tribal council. Also, I believe that the Vula tribe will see the most tribal councils out of the 3 tribes. Like I've said, in my personal opinion, Mary or Say will be the next to go from the Vola tribe. Mary has also already painted a little bit of a target on her back as being the only person to vote for Say at the first tribal council. I know that Mary is playing an intentionally bad game, but she's certainly not playing a good one right now. Number 13 is Chrissy. I have no idea where to firmly stand with Chrissy. I don't get winter vibes at all from Chrissy's edit. Going into the second episode, I still don't see her making any strong connections. I don't even know that she's ever going to have a final two. Chrissy could get lucky enough to situate herself at the bottom of an alliance that needs her just for the votes, but other than that, I don't think she has much of a chance. But I'll keep an eye out. Number 12 on my list, Camila. This chick seems to already have fan favorite potential. Based on her preseason interviews, she was showing likability as an underdog player who might get overlooked for a while, but later emerge as a castaway that will have everyone in tears when her torch gets snuffed. Camila will not be a challenge beast at all, but she could be savvy enough to locate clues and idols, as well as play a very strategic social game. Camila appears to have made a few connections on her tribe, and I'm cautiously optimistic about her stance in the game thus far. She has potential to move up on my list. Number 11 is Charity. First of all, what a potential story arc Charity has. Her story is going to resonate with a lot of fans, so even if she doesn't last very long in this game, I see her as having good potential as a returning player at some point in the future. Charity is on the Siva tribe and seems to sit in an okay position for what it's worth on the first episode. I have seen a lot of people say she's giving winner vibes on the internet so far. I don't necessarily see that yet personally, but I will be keeping an eye out for her for sure. Number 10 is Kevin. Kevin is showing Survivor fans just how great us finance people can be. If you didn't know, Kevin and I have the same exact profession. So Kevin suffered a pretty severe shoulder injury on the first episode. We didn't see much of it in the edit, but we have since seen on social media that this was actually pretty serious. But he did not let his injury stop him. He kept on going and kept playing. I am interested to see if that injury will pop up in the future as a potential problem for him, but only time's going to tell. I also think that Kevin, being such a strong team player, makes for a really good public perception of him within his fellow Vola tribe castaways. Unfortunately for Kevin, the Vola tribe is weaker in my view, so I do see him visiting tribal council more often. I'm also not really too sure as to how he's fitting in with the rest of his tribe mates, and he had the opportunity to win supplies for his tribe, but he came up short, so they might feel a type of way about it. Number 9, I have Shaheen, the one everyone is wondering, why wasn't he cast for Survivor 46? What made production have him wait for Survivor 48? I really can't put my finger on what it is about this guy, but I don't think he's going to win. See more, though, in order for me to get a more permanent place for him on my list, so be on the lookout for this guy in the coming weeks. He may move up. He does have something working on his side currently, and that is the California Girls Alliance that he is a part of. Number 8 on my list is Cedric. Cedric has aligned himself with Say, but I don't actually think that their bond is going to be a threat for his game. If anything, I think it is going to be of benefit because she is going to be the first boot within the Core 4 alliance that they have seemed to form. At least I think that she would be the first boot. On the premiere episode, Cedric was found helping Say complete her puzzle that she needed to do to unlock the idol that she found, which shows to me that he is a team player, and I think that also will resonate with the rest of his tribe. Currently, Cedric is not at odds with anyone. His name wasn't being spoken as any type of possibility for the tribal votes during the first tribal council that they went to. So I think that he could be a significant player for the Vola tribe moving forward. Cedric did struggle at the first competition physically, but he might be a strong competitor for the mental piece in the future competitions. Almost every competition in Survivor has some sort of puzzle component, and I think that he would be really good at solving puzzles. And this could be useful to the Vola tribe. Now, he didn't actually volunteer to solve the puzzle in the first immunity challenge, though, which tells me that he knows what he's doing, but he also didn't want to play too hard too fast. He wanted to play it safe, and I think that's a solid strategy. Next on my list, I have number 7, Kyle. This guy was one of the ones that I would have never picked to be on my Survivor draft list, and I didn't pick him. Um, just based on his preseason interviews, I didn't really see a path to success for this guy. However, Kyle has proved me wrong. Kyle is such a genuine guy. He has everyone on his entire tribe believing every single word that he says. Everyone likes him, everyone listens to him. There was a moment on the first episode where Kyle breaks his glass jug that he needed to fill with water in order to win a competition. And rather than sitting down and sulking about how he lost that competition, he chose to get up and help Kevin, who isn't even on his tribe. This act of compassion will not be forgotten, if you ask me. If both Kyle and Kevin make it post merge, I see a predetermined partnership just based off of that one single event. Also, I hardly cry at TV shows, but that scene had me holding back tears. Moving on to number 6, we have Justin. First of all, I love this guy's pizza shirt. Justin wasn't giving a whole lot of winner vibes or loser vibes. He just wasn't given a lot of edit on the premiere episode. And much like Bianca, who I'm going to get to here in a little bit, I think it's a good thing. It leaves production room to tell his story. I think we at least are going to see this guy post merge. Next is number 5, Mitch. If I was on Survivor with this guy, you couldn't pay me enough money to vote him out. Watching Mitch's preseason interviews, I was feeling really good about him. Then Mitch was the first guy that Jeff Probst called out for an introduction on Wednesday's premiere. And at that point, I was like, oh no. And I started to panic. Sometimes getting a story arc so soon isn't always a good thing. But then there wasn't anything else that I would specifically say leads me to believe that Mitch is in any immediate danger. And Mitch being a PE teacher slash PE coach, whichever it was, I believe will help him have a really good social game. Teachers and coaches can be really empathetic when necessary, but also they lead their entire class by example. Despite Mitch having speech issues, this guy shows us in the very first episode his communication skills are on point. Lastly, he is wildly athletic, running Ironman races in the past. He's got it in the bag. Is he capable of winning Survivor 48? Absolutely. Will he win? That's to be determined. I'm going to continue to watch Mitch very, very closely. Number 4 is one of my favorites, Eva. Eva quickly emerged as a fan favorite on Wednesday night, I think. At least it seems that way on social media. As an autistic person, Eva admits that she struggles to pick up on social cues and facial expressions that might help her to determine if someone is being deceitful towards her or not. However, Eva uses her autism as a superpower and not a disability. On the premiere episode, Eva could be found collecting more bamboo than anyone else on her tribe. She found a purpose in helping to build the camp and fixated on that purpose, which was both helpful to her autism needs and to her tribe. This chick is physically fit and has potential to keep up with the guys on her tribe, in my personal opinion. What I found most remarkable about Eva was her social strategy. She admits that her pre-planned strategy was not to out to her entire tribe about her autism diagnosis right away, but rather tell people individually and slowly throughout the game. Included in her strategy was to find just one person that she could trust wholeheartedly and start off by telling that person about her diagnosis. To me, the fact that Eva admits to having trouble picking up on people's reactions and interactions with her, but yet picked, in my personal opinion, the absolute best person on her entire tribe to trust with that information and to bond with on the first episode, shows that she is a true competitor. And this partnership between Eva and Joe is going to be one to watch for. Speaking of Joe, number 3 on my list is Joe, aka Eva's protector. This guy is likely to be my biggest regret in not selecting for my Survivor draft. Joe is physically fit and he seems to be aligned well socially. with his unbreakable bond with Eva, but also with his alliance, the California Girls. This alliance consists of him, Thomas, and Shaheen. I view Joe as a dominant player and someone to watch out for with potential to move way up on my list. Number 2, I have Thomas. I love Thomas. He has personality, strategy, and the ability to give us as viewers a really entertaining season. On a personal level, I want this guy to stay in the game as long as humanly possible, just for my personal entertainment. Thomas has situated himself in the season's first official alliance with a name, the California Girls, a 3-man alliance consisting of Thomas, Shaheen, and Joe. Thomas also has what I would consider a really decent initial connection with Bianca, who has no other connections on their tribe, so this could mean that he has her undying devotion for now. Thomas is fairly protected in the event that his tribe goes to tribal council for that reason, because he's got Bianca and he's got the California Girls. And I've said it before, but his tribe, the Lange tribe, I just don't think is going to see very many tribal councils. We should probably pencil this guy in for post-merge. Now, I'm putting Bianca above Thomas because Bianca has little to no edit on the premiere episode, whereas Thomas got a lot of edit. We got to see him a lot more often. This always makes me really nervous when we see someone a lot more often than others on a premiere episode. But I am hoping that the reason for this is just because he has so much charisma in his confessionals. So I just gave it away, but number 1 on my list is Bianca. I got really good vibes from Bianca in her preseason interviews, and those good vibes continued throughout the premiere episode. Bianca has a really good career as a PR rep. And I think that she's also really charismatic. I think her likability combined with her profession will make for a really winning social strategy. Bianca is also on what I would consider a winning tribe, Lange. I've said it once, I've said it 3 times probably. Bianca has made comments about not being afraid to take chances, which leads me to believe that she will make big moves in the game when she needs to. She does have one thing working against her at this point. Her tribe seems to have 2 strong alliances formed, and neither one of them include her. Like I said, the California Girls and then Joe and Eva have what seems to be probably a potential final 2. However, Thomas was pretty shocked that he was in an all-guys alliance and said that he really didn't want to do that coming into Survivor. And Thomas quickly expressed a desire to work with women instead of the bros. He started forming his connections with Bianca pretty early on, and for that reason, I see a way through the pre-merge part of the season if Bianca can start to form an even stronger bond / maybe even an alliance with Thomas. But like I said, her lack of edit just makes me think that she has potential to go really far in the game and possibly win.